before I got sick. I was a happy person, you know, that had a family that really cared about me.
It was really great. It was really great. I enjoyed being around people. I enjoyed just the regular things in life.
Great. I was in good health, real good.
Happy, joyous, and free. I was able to interact without being stigmatized and peer pressured, and I was just normal, quote unquote.
I just felt like a regular person in society. We had a nice childhood and everything.
I did everything a normal kid would do. You know, I get out and play ball in school and at home. And so, but my life was practically, you know, a good life, you know.
It was a long time ago. I was a student, athlete. Life was good.
I was pushing myself very hard to make good grades in school.
I was a workaholic. I was well-to-do. I made good money. The physical things in life, I pretty well had.
I had a pretty good life before I was working. Had a job loading trucks, driving a forklift, basically doing about anything I wanted to do.
I worked in the mill. I was married and I had 3 kids.
Before I got sick, it was good and not so good because I had an abusive father, physically abusive father. So it was a little difficult growing up.
Now, my dad left me when I was 6 years old.
My life was unmanageable. I was a total mess. Life was hard. I thought I would never make it. I went through a lot of stuff.
It was horrible. Nothing went right.
It goes back a long way. I was not a happy person. To me, I felt like I failed at everything.
It was terrible.
I was working at Food Line for 7 years, and I started hearing voices.
It was pretty rough because of my illness. Started really getting sick when I was 8, knowing what I know now about mental health issues. So really don't know what life was really like beforehand.
We didn't go to mental health. You know, we went to church. And if church didn't fix you, then somebody probably had put a spell on you or roots on you, and my parents took me all over North Carolina to faith healers to get me better, which didn't work.
Well, I think it's kind of like a no-fault automobile collision. It just happens to some people and some people it doesn't.
It's hereditary. My grandmother was manic depressive.
Partially, I think it was genetics.
I inherited from my real mom.
Well, it runs in my family, but my dad was an alcoholic and my brother was an alcoholic, and they had some mental illness.
I believe I was drinking at a young age and using drugs at a young age, and it just started a downhill spiral from there when I turned 18.
It began at a younger age when I was growing up. You know, I had been through a whole lot.
Well, I couldn't concentrate in school. And Mama tried to get me help, but back in the 50s, they did these IQ tests and everything, said nothing wrong with Sharon.
My folks used to tell ghost stories, but they terrified me, literally. And they didn't, I think they thought it was just something humorous, but they would tell these stories. They used to call them haints. Haints, like a house, instead of haunted, it was haunted. And I remember it got so bad for me that I could not sleep in my room by myself. I had to have a light on. And my parents moved me into their room, and I would still see things coming at me.
It was a combination of my daughter getting shot, going through a divorce.
I never could adjust to it. I never could adjust to the probability of me having to take care of me and my illness, and plus the whole family at the same time.
My husband was very abusive, and I was married to him for 25 years, but I stayed with him because of the kids.
Operations. I had 7 operations within 2 months.
I got to the point that I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to be around nobody. I just wanted to stay in my room the whole time, not get out, do nothing.
Severe medic burnout, combined with schizophrenia, combined with my dad's death, combined with seeing other people die as a medic.
I had an automobile accident in October of 2002, in which time I spent 16 months in the hospital going through 18 surgeries. During that time, my house got foreclosed on, I lost my car, my wife had a nervous breakdown, and there I was in the hospital, not able to do anything. And seeing all that going on, I just quit wanting to live.
Treating my family mean and kicking her car and said I was going to kill her, and I was getting sick.
A lot of stress and a lot of not taking care of myself. And before I realized what was happening, I had already had the breakdown. It was very severe.
I was out of this world. I started talking crazy talk.
I get violent sometimes.
I was cut off from my support system.
Just didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want anybody knocking on my door. I didn't want anybody calling me. I just didn't want to be bothered.
It didn't feel that great because, you know, not wanting to get out and do nothing, not be with people.
It was such a lonely, confusing experience.
It was to the point where I could barely cope with basic everyday activities for long periods of time.
It was, it was, my family just, they didn't understand.
I didn't want to be around a lot of people. They made me uneasy. I felt like they were talking about me all the time.
It was hard to live in my own skin. I thought people put me down. I thought people didn't want me around. I didn't go to church for a long time because who'd want me?
Ooh, people talk about you a lot, and you think they're saying something about you, and they're not. And I couldn't sleep at nights.
I felt like I didn't have no hope that I wouldn't get better.
Depressed mostly.
Paranoid. I was afraid everything the Democrats were after me because I knew the truth. That Ronald Reagan was talking to me and told me what the truth was, and that it was my mission to stop the Democrats.
Those years of, going in and out of the hospital, on and off medication, and, it's just scary and depressing and, just difficult.
All I wanted to do was sleep all the time. I never really got any better because I spent all my time sleeping. And he kept increasing the medication, and I never did get any better.
I don't know if the medication did that, but they sent me to Chapel Hill, and they thought I was on LSD.
Caught up in the grips of addiction and unfunctioning, unmanageable, and I was powerless over the drugs, and I was like a totally different person from who I said I would be.
I got in so many problems, and it was just hard for me.
I went towards a self-destructive pattern as a young child growing up. I got involved in drugs and alcohol And that's when my life took off for the races. I was really messed up for a long time.
I didn't want to live. I didn't, nothing but pain and frustration, a hopelessness, a helplessness, anger, more at me because I felt like I had failed when in real life it was one of those things. And, personally, I think it was a time that God used to humble me.
It wasn't pleasant at all.
It wasn't good. It was sad a lot of times,
Abnormal, but I dealt with it. And then I come to grips with something missing. I worked on my physical self, but I worked on myself everywhere else spiritually and everything else except mentally. So I seek help to learn about mental health illness. I checked myself into Behavioral Health Center in Charlotte, and I told them I wasn't leaving. They kept trying to get me to go to detox. I said I wasn't going to detox no more, none of that. I have a mental problem.
Got me a therapist, they got me a doctor, and they started working with me, and I had to go quite a few times, all during the week. And before I knew it, I started recognizing more and more things because I still did not recognize my family members. I still did not know my own children or anything. And things started coming back a little at a time. And they found the right medication to help me, and I started getting better.
After about 30 years of serious destruction, I finally got in a treatment facility that was basically run by people in recovery. People who had sponsors, people who made meetings. Nurses, even the nurse was living recovery.
I had a cousin that got me into the mental health.
Getting in therapy, psychotherapeutic drugs, medications, staying on the medication and therapy regimen, hospitalization intervention was the start of it.
I spent 9 months in Broughton, and that was a real reality check for me, basically. The 9 months was real good. I was able to work through issues. They were able to find out what exactly was going on and what medicine they needed me on.
Ended up being in the hospital. That's what led to my recovery. And then I got in the hospital, and I ain't been in the hospital ever since.
I went in and out of the hospital for a few years, so I'd get out of the hospital and get on the medication and get to feeling better, so I'd quit taking it. And then I could go a couple years or a little while, and it'd bring on some stress, and it would, send me into another psychotic break, and I'd end up back in the hospital. But in 2004, after my last episode, I got serious about my recovery.
I was in the hospital in Rutherfordton about 6 years ago, and Dr. Joseph, who was my psychiatrist at the time, put me on some Malta, and ever since then I've been doing good.
I was invited to a share conference in Columbia, South Carolina, and I met my future wife, Laura, there. And I pursued her. I had the phone number to her psychosocial clubhouse in Durham. I lived in Raleigh, so I called that number over and over and over again. And finally, I called when she was at that number, and we made a date for the first Friday after Labor Day in 1989.
I had to learn how to take care of myself. That's had to is my words. I went to therapy. And I think my desire to do right is what inspired me to do it.
I began to look deep inside myself and see the improvement that I've done. I'm doing stuff now that I couldn't do when I was a kid. Because now I know myself now. I know myself better. I know who I am. And I know the things that I'm capable of improving. I'm capable of just doing anything.
I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I knew that I had a problem, but I didn't know what I was going to do about it. I came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. And my higher power stepped in, and that was basically how it began, my road to recovery.
I've been praying about it, and I asked the Lord to help me through it, help me recover.
Trusting in the Lord and help with others.
Went to the courts, and I had to go before the judge, and the judge told me it was either going for the long term back to Broughton, which I said I would never go back to him, or go to the clubhouse. To me at that time, that was the best of the two evils, because I'd already been there and I felt like it wasn't for me. But a lot of work, a lot of patience, a lot of support, and two very key people that have become very important in my life worked with me and showed me some, a light at the end of the tunnel.
Being at Grant Street where I am now, and the Carter House, and all the people there, and actually my psychiatrist and my therapist, I finally got the right people in my life to help me.
Staying on the medicines and going to the Carter House.
When they changed my medication, and I started going places, when I first went to the Carter House, I started getting better and better.
When I got to Stanley County, that was the best thing that ever happened to me when Dr. Shaw sent me to the clubhouse.
Intervision came along, and I've been moving forward ever since, because that's the way we do it. We don't look backwards, we move forward. That's our motto, our mission. We make priorities first, and we move forward and forget about yesterday.
As I went along and learned some recovery skills, learned how to live some recovery principles, it's getting better every day. Life's good. It's not perfect, it ain't always easy, but that foundation of recovery and knowing that whatever I go through, I'm gonna be okay. Learning how to let things go that ain't mine to bear. I mean, recovery's awesome. It teaches us how to live.
I feel like I'm recovering.
Well, I felt good because the medicine was working for me.
Those symptoms just dissipate and go away. And you just feel better about yourself, and you begin to recover.
My life has progressed so much since I've been in recovery.
I can do anything. I'm into now I'm doing physical. Mentally, my mind has gotten so much better. And so I've gotten that straightened out now. Physically, I'm older. I'm in water aerobics. So I go to Intervision 2 days, go to water aerobics 2 days for my heart to keep myself fit. I'm eating the right things.
It feels fantastic, getting better. It feels like you're more adequate for society. It makes you feel like you could do anything they could do.
It feels great. I'm able to do basically what I want to do. Now have my own place, taking care of my own responsibilities, paying my own bills. I mean, it feels great to be back doing what I want to do.
I feel joyful. I try to make people laugh, when they're a little down. I try to say something funny to them, or something funny, phrase or something.
Wow, my life began again. Just recently, I graduated from the PSR day facility, and I am now a peer support specialist working for one of the other services.
Getting better is like the freedom of not being in a hospital and the cost effectiveness of not being in a hospital is a relative freedom that I very much enjoy and appreciate.
When I was getting better, I got more confidence. And I felt better about myself. I had more self-esteem.
Seeing sunshine, seeing something light up.
It was such a relief to start recognizing family members again, you know, knowing their names. And my husband said, and I was married, and my husband said, I thought you never were going to get any better. And they had already talked to him about putting me in a mental institution, you know. So it felt great to be getting better.
It feels good. You know, I know there's hope, you know, and I'm not alone. There's other people like me. For many years, I thought, you know, I was alone. You know, nobody is going through what I'm going through, but now I've met a lot of wonderful people that, you know, suffer from the same thing I do and other mental illnesses.
Feels good to be better.
Great. I can get around better now.
I can talk to people.
Me. Free. Freedom.
Feels good.
It feels good. It feels good. I'm sort of getting back to myself. I feel like I'm getting back to the old Barbara that I used to know. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there.
I've got everything I want. That doesn't mean that I've got money, I'm rich, I'm everything. I don't have money. I don't have anything materialistic except the bare necessities because I can't afford anything, but I'm happy. That's the main thing. I am very, very happy.
Life like now is wonderful. I'm in a wonderful relationship with my girlfriend. We've been together since 2006. I got a great relationship with my mother, my brothers and sisters. I got a wonderful support network. Got support network at the Carter House, which is the PSR, and it's just wonderful. I mean, there's times when I struggle because I suffer from depression. That's one of my diagnoses. So on days I can be down and, you know, down in the dumps, but when I see somebody smile or something like that, it just, you know, kind of lifts me back up.
Well, it has positives and negatives. I live alone. I enjoy that. I enjoy a lot of solitude. I'm disabled. I don't work regularly. I'm not able to do that. But I can do some things I enjoy.
Very good. I still have some stressors in my life, but I'm handling them.
What can I say? Life's good, and I owe it all to the support that I've gotten from the other people in recovery, from North Carolina Mental Health Consumers Organization, because one of the prior executive director introduced me to this world of mental health recovery. I didn't even know it existed. I was like a kid in a candy store. Everything that I've learned, everything that I've been through was valuable, of value to my community. To me, I serve on the Johnston County Consumer Family Advisory Committee. I'm a busy woman, and I'm happy. I'm happy.
I feel like I'm an example of what can happen when you're given the right tools and you have the right mindset.
Oh, Lord. Describing it now is hard to do because I do so many things.
It always seems to amaze me how my life is going on a daily basis, every day. I don't know what miracles are going to happen because I've got so many miracles in my life. God has completely changed my life, you know, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the organizations that help me and inspire me to be better and to do better and want to give back so graciously what was given to me.
Oh, I like life now. I'm a peer specialist with Pathways.
Oh, life is beautiful right now. I just got off a 6-month placement on my job.
Life is good. Life is good. I'm enjoying my grandkids and going to the Carter House 3 days a week and just enjoying myself.
Wonderful, happy, joyful, you know, and I just feel good all the time. I try to, I may think of things, but I don't let it bother me now like I did, you know.
It's good. I've got my own car, my own apartment. I go places.
I'm more happier now. Before I was living in group homes. I got my own place now. And I keep it clean.
It's better than it was before.
It's wonderful. I have an apartment that I really do like.
A breath of fresh air. Soaring like an eagle.
Fantastic.
It's good life. I can live in the world.
Hey, Teresa, sometimes it's bored. But I enjoy it.
And this is just part of my credo. Everybody needs some hope. They need some hope to get through life. And if you don't have any hope, how in the world can you get up out of bed and face the world?
To me, hope is, having your health, being open up to people, being positive, and being able to enjoy life again.
Being positive, loving yourself, being who you are, and just enjoying your life.
Think of things that would make you happy.
Love, joy, peace, happiness.
Well, I think the mental health system is getting gradually better.
I think involvement is very therapeutic. Involvement in organizations like North Carolina Mental Health Consumers Organization.
Recovery is possible. It's a task you got to work at, but once you work the recovery process, it's worth it in the end.
Recovery is possible. Believe that recovery is possible.
If you really want something, and if it's in reason, you can do it.
Nothing impossible. It's nothing impossible. All things are possible through God. And, all you got to do is be willing to make that first step.
You can do it. There's no such thing as having a mental illness that you can't be recovered from. There is no such thing. I really and truly believe that.
No matter what you're going through, no matter what diagnosis, no matter what illness, hope is the key. You can do it. You can be better at whatever it is you're trying to do.
But there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
There is hope that you can have recovery in your illness.
Stay strong.
Believe in yourself.
You can do it. Push. Don't break up with yourself. Empower yourself. Embrace the next person with empathy. And give them a hand up instead of a hand out. Encourage them to be all that they can be. Let them know there is hope out there. Keep hope alive. Push.
Believe and don't give up.
I have basically 3 things I want out of life. That's to live reasonably, to be comfortable, and to die solvent.
I won't be aware of this, I don't think, but to have a big, pretty funeral and people who knew me, know me, come to my funeral and pay their respects.
I dream someday I'll have a job working in the restaurant.
My dream is to one day become a peer support specialist. I would like to work with people with mental illness.
Actually thinking about becoming a licensed clinical counselor with a doctorate degree where I can just use my term Dr. Bob from Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob fame.
Hopefully I'm going to start my own business one day. Be successful in it.
My dreams are to get my bachelor's in human services or psychology and become a therapist clinician.
One day I hope I could go to college and take law, criminal law. I want to be a policeman.
I'd like to make a little more money to make things easier in our life because financial stress is also stress.
hopefully someday to be able to build my own house, be able to drive again, maybe get married. Not definite about that yet.
My dreams are to get a job, to find me a nice man that can love me for me and that can understand some of the challenges that I've gone through and some of the difficulties I've gone through, because I've had it pretty rough.
To be healthy, to have healthy relationships, to have work that I look forward to doing. You know, that's about it.
My dreams are to continue what I'm doing until I can't do it anymore. Volunteer, working with mental illness, working with consumers, and do what I'm doing now. That's it.
To be a missionary, to have my own ministry called All God's Children Needs Traveling Shoes, embracing people with mental health issues, such as myself, and to be an advocate for myself and others.
And I want to be able to help others, you know, that has mental illness to come to me if they have a problem, and we can talk about it. And that's what I want to use my ministry for, to help others.
Is to be the best I can be as a friend, as a to another peer, to help them.
To stay healthy, to keep my apartment, and watch my grandkids grow up.
Seeing my grandkids for one more time. They are here in Lexington somewhere, and my other kids in Florida and Midway. That's my dream.
I dream to just take life as it comes, one day at a time.
And my dream is that eventually everybody that has a problem can have help and have the services that they need. That's my dream.
Be able to face the good times and the bad. And that's it.